This is Paula coming to you live from my home office for a wonderful power yoga class, 30 to 35 minutes of power yoga. So if you're new here, make sure you got your mats. Even if you're old here, make sure you have your mats. We'll get started here shortly. Also, if you're someone who likes to use a block or a strap to get deeper into your stretches or to help the floor be a more reasonable distance from your hands, make sure you grab those tools as well. So we're going to focus on a bodyweight power yoga class centered around our sun salutation today. So make sure that you got your water, maybe have a towel ready. We're going to try and get a little bit of a glisten going with our power yoga. So when you're ready, finding your mat, and we're going to start standing today. So you want to come to the front of your mat, so you got plenty of room to step back as we do that. Finding our mountain pose, and if we're comfortable in our practice and we like to bring our big toes together, feel free to practice that way. Otherwise, stack those feet directly under our hips, bringing those feet hip width apart, rolling the shoulders back and down, and aligning those sits bones towards the ground. Doing your best to get those sits bones to point at your heels without fully tucking the tush. As we stand and prepare for our practice this morning, allowing the crown of the head to lift up towards the ceiling, and your awareness to center on your breath. Noticing the sensations, the pressure in our feet. So evenly placing weight between our big toe, our pinky toe, and our heel, maybe even doing some shifts or some toe lifts to help us ground our feet. Find that Pada Bandha. Pada meeting foot, Bandha meeting bind, that foot bind with the floor. And allowing yourself to center into your breath. We're going to allow ourselves 3 more breaths, finding our full inhale and our full exhale. On your next inhale, let's use it to circle the arms up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, the hips are going to sit back, finding our chair pose. Moving with our breath here, inhale to circle the arms up, exhale to sit back. Inhales and exhales. Inhaling and exhaling, finding that rhythm, your breath. Allowing ourselves 2 more breaths just like this, and then we are going to mute and hold in our chair pose. From chair, hands draw to heart center. Exhale, we're going to bring the hands down. Straighten the legs as much as is comfortable in this first forward fold, and lift to our flat back. Exhale, hands draw down, deep knee bend, circle the arms all the way up. Let's do that 3 more times. Hips pull back, hands to heart center, exhale and fold. Inhale to lift. Exhale, draw down, deep knee bend to bring us all the way up. Exhale back. Inhaling and exhaling. Hands to the ground, inhale to lift. Exhale down, deep knee bend, circle all the way up. One last time, those hips come back, hands to center. Warming up that low back area, inhale to prepare. Exhale, we're going to turn and twist, opening the arms. Bringing hands back to center, turning to the opposite direction, option to open the arms. Inhales, bring us back to center. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands draw down. Deep knee bend. Step it back to plank or kneeling plank, wherever we want to practice here. From our first plank position, we're going to lower all the way to the ground. Finding our next inhale, lifting into cobra pose. Feet stay anchored to the ground, just our torso lifts. Exhale, lowering back down. Pressing ourselves back to child's pose. Taking a moment here. And then when you're ready, curling your toes under. Lifting your hips high. Taking a moment to wiggle through the feet. From downward dog, we are going to step or float feet to our hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands draw down. Deep knee bend, roll us all the way up. Great big stretch. Exhale, hips pull back. Hands come to heart center. And we're going to prepare for a floating chair pose. So slowly begin shifting weight to the balls of the feet and lifting the heels. Challenge your balance. See how far those heels can come up. Lowering ourselves back down. Hinging forward. Anchoring the hands to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands draw down. Deep knee bend. Stepping or floating feet back to plank or kneeling plank. This time, let's find our upward facing dog. So we're going to lower through chaturanga. Shoulders are going to shift forward so that as we lower down, our elbows stay stacked over our wrists and then swooping the nose up for that upward facing dog. From up dog, taking this opportunity to either return to child's pose or to push ourselves back, finding our downward facing dog. We're going to hold here for 3 strong breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe moving through the feet or wagging our tails back and forth. With our next inhale, we're once again going to step or float. If we'd like to float, make sure we bend those knees. Softly land. Inhale, lift to flat back. Exhale, draw down. Deep knee bend. Rising all the way up. Exhale, fold forward, great big swan dive. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, hands draw down. Adding in our lunge, we're going to take our right foot. We're going to step back. Option always to bring that knee to the ground. In fact, on this first one, that's how I'm going to demo. If you'd like to challenge yourself today, extend that leg, keep it extended. From here, we're going to rise up. Find your balance. Make sure those sits bones, again, are pointed straight at the ground and not behind us. Hand can stay on the thigh. We can bring it to heart center, or we can lift all the way up to the sky. Exhale, sweep the hands down. Stepping back to our plank or our kneeling plank. Shifting shoulders forward so that as we lower through chaturanga, elbows stay stacked over wrists. Swooping the nose up. Upward facing dog. From up dog, transitioning back to down dog, or always option for your child's pose. Again, we hold 3 strong breaths. Option to move through those legs. Wiggle those hips. Whatever feels good this morning. Whatever we're doing, keep that core engaged, belly active. And then, when you're ready, stepping, or again, option to float. Feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands draw down. Deep knee bend. Swoop it all the way up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands draw down. Anchoring the hands, bending the knees, stepping back with your left foot. Again, I'm going to demo on our knees. Rising up Keeping those sits bones pointed towards the ground, and make sure those hips are both facing forward. I always like to say one shoulder over one hip. Keep them paired. Tummy engaged. Hands to heart center. Extend the arms if you'd like the core challenge. Hands swoop down to frame the foot. Back toes curl under. Step it back to your plank. From plank, lowering through chaturanga. We just love chaturangas. As we lower, make sure elbows hug the rib cage and stay over the wrists. Swoop the nose up. Find the upward facing dog. From up dog, press the floor away, transition back to your down dog or your child's pose. Again, 3 strong breaths here. So make sure that if you need that child's pose, if your shoulders are talking to you, make sure you honor what they're saying. And if you need a child's pose, take that child's pose. Now from our downward facing dog, we're going to bring attention to our right foot. And we're going to allow weight to shift to the left so that right foot can raise. Keep that foot flexed and both hip bones pointed towards the ground as we extend it up. 3-legged down dog. Draw the heel towards the sits bone, and then we are going to draw that knee in towards the nose, getting a nice crunch here, and pressing through those left toes, and then extend it back. Let's do that one more time, drawing it in, and extending it back. This time, as we draw that knee in towards our nose, we're going to step it forward between our feet. If it doesn't make it, help it out. Finding that lunge again. Now again, option to bring that knee to the ground if we need it. Option to keep it extended. If we keep it extended, lots of pressure going through that back heel, and we're going to rise up. Option 1 for our rise, to walk ourselves up. Option 2 for our rise, to swoop it up with control. Wherever we're at, finding stability and strength here. In our lunge, we're going to twist. Inhale to prepare, exhale, we twist. Whoops. And look over our shoulder. If we like, we can open our wings just like we did earlier with our chair pose. Bringing hands back to center, bringing it back. We're going to step our back foot a little bit closer, turn that heel to the ground, and find our warrior 1. So again, those hip bones, make sure they're facing center or forward. Sits bones towards the ground, warrior 1. From warrior 1, we're going to windmill the arms down and around, coming back to our lunge position, and then stepping it back to plank. From plank, lowering with control, inhale, sweeping that nose up, upward facing dog. As we exhale, finding down dog or child's pose. And breathing, 3 strong breaths. If we're in our child's pose, transitioning to our downward dog, we're going to bring big toes as close together as they can. Again, this time we're going to draw attention to our left foot, shifting weight to our right, allowing that left foot to lift. Slowly extend it up, keeping both hip bones pointed towards the ground. I know it's real tempting to open those hips, but bring it towards the ground. Bring both hip bones to point towards the ground. From here, drawing heel in and drawing nose to knee, crunching up and extending back. One more, crunching and extending. This time we crunch. Draw that foot all the way to the hands. If it doesn't make it, we help it out. Again, choosing our variation to get into our lunge, remembering always the option to have our knee on the ground. So choosing how we would like to rise. Sits bones towards the ground, hip bones forward, and we hold. Taking a moment here, make sure you found your balance. Inhale when you're ready. Exhale, we're going to twist. Keeping that spine as straight as we can, and then opening those arms if it's comfortable. Remember, we can always just hang out right here. Bringing ourselves back to center. Stepping that back foot a little bit forward, turning it so we can find our warrior one. Hip bones face forward. Sit bones tuck down. And hands extend up. And we hold. Sweeping hands down all the way to the ground. Stepping back for our plank or our kneeling plank. Lowering with control. Inhaling, up dog. Exhaling, down dog. From downward facing dog again, 3 breaths. So option, if you need that child pose, make sure you take it. From our downward facing dog, we're once again going to bring our feet closer together so that we have a more balanced base. We're going to let our right foot lift again, nice and flexed, bending knee to sits bone. We're going to draw that knee across the body, taking right knee towards left elbow. Bring it back. And now bring right knee towards right elbow. And bring it back. This time, bring that right knee all the way through the hands, placing the foot, turning, anchoring that back foot. We're going to rise up into Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, taking 3 deep breaths. And then slowly lowering back hand to back leg, front palm turns up, reach for the sky, reverse warrior. From reverse warrior, we're going to windmill our arms all the way down and around, framing our right foot, step it back to plank, lower with control, inhaling up dog, exhaling down dog or child's pose. 3 strong breaths. Again, make sure our feet are as close together as is comfortable, forming that nice balanced base. Attention to the left foot as we keep it flexed and extend it back. Heel to sits bone. Inhale, drawing that left knee towards the right elbow and extending it back. Left knee towards left elbow. Extend it back. Left knee comes straight through. Placing between the hands, turning and anchoring that back foot as we prepare for our Warrior 2. Rising up, Warrior 2. Holding 3 strong breaths. From here, back hand to back leg, front palm turns up, reach for the sky. From reverse warrior, windmill those arms down and around, anchoring the hands on both sides of the foot, step it back for plank, lowering with control, Inhales to up dog. Exhales back to down dog or child's pose. Remember, you always have that option for child's pose. We're going to transition back into warrior one. So when you're ready, once again, finding downward dog if we're in child's pose. We're going to extend right leg back. Heel to sits bone, draw the knee through. Turn and anchor that back heel. And we're going to bring it in even closer because we're going to move into a balancing warrior three from our warrior one. Swooping our hands up or walking. And then hands are going to come to heart center as we prepare for this balance. So with balancing warrior three, it's not, ignore this back leg. It's fine. We're worried more about our nose. So if we'd like more support as we move into our balance, turn those arms out. And what we do is we shift weight into that front leg, naturally bringing that back leg into more of a tippy toe position. And then we just think about looking forward. I always imagine a nice big Sandy's donut out there, the ones with the apple pie filling, and I'm just reaching for it. Just want to take a little sniff. And before I know it, as I think about that lovely Sandy's donut out there, pretty soon this back leg is just kind of free floating. And we hold. If you'd like to challenge the pose, you can extend the arms out. If you'd like to assist the pose, you can bring them to the side. If you would like to take a small challenge, we can bring the arms alongside the body. And then we bring ourselves back down. We're going to try that one more time. Just take a moment, wiggle those toes, maybe stretch through the hips before we turn back to that short stance warrior one. The important thing to remember about balances is while getting to that perfectly flat level T makes a great Instagram picture, it's more about strengthening our core muscles and our hips so that we can support our body on a single leg motion, which, if you think about it, walking is a single leg motion. So to improve walking, maybe. And so as we shift forward, if we come to here and we're starting to lose our balance, we're still activating those muscles. So we're doing good things, even if we have that toe down as a kickstand. But wherever we are, we're thinking about that lovely Sandy's donut, or maybe cheeseburger, veggie burger, whatever motivates you. Maybe it's your puppy. And we're slowly going to tip, reaching for that point. Thinking about grounding to that big toe. Maybe taking a little bit deeper this time. And then slowly lowering that leg back down. Bringing ourselves back to our short stance warrior one. Inhaling the arms up so that we can bring our arms down. Step it back to our plank. Second to last chaturanga of the class. Lowering down. Up dog. Exhale. Push it back to that downward dog. Moving right away into that next balance. So left leg extends. Heel to sits bone and draw the knee through. Turn and anchor that back foot for our warrior one stance and then shorten it. Rising up. Hands to center as we prepare for our balancing warrior three. Shifting weight forward. Again, I imagine those lovely apple pie filled Sandy's donuts. And I slowly reach. And eventually that back leg is going to float or become lighter if we're keeping our kickstand. And we hold. If we feel good in the balance, we can take it further. If we're still working on activating that glute and keeping the core solid, we keep it a little bit lower. Lowering ourselves back down. Again, move through those feet If our feet start to cramp a little bit, make sure that we get some good wiggles in there. Maybe grab a swig of water before we prepare for attempt number 2. If you felt good on this side, challenge yourself. Maybe try the arms out or the arms alongside the body this time to help us challenge that pose a little bit more. If you felt like you needed more support, remember airplane arms is always an option. Lowering ourselves back down, hands to center. Inhale the arms up, swoop them down and around, step it back to our plank or our kneeling plank. Last chaturanga of class, lowering down, inhale, swooping up, upward dog, bring it back to our downward dog. 3 deep breaths here. After that 3rd breath, we are going to step ourselves into our seated position. Taking a moment to breathe here. And then we're going to move into a seated forward fold. So turning sideways so you guys can see what I'm doing, and so my legs stay on my mat. Crown of the head lifts up towards the ceiling. Nice active toes, so pulling our toes back towards our knees. Inhale to prepare, exhale, we fold forward. Our next inhale is going to bring us back up to seated. Arms are going to come behind as we prepare for tabletop pose. So bringing bases of the feet to the mat, hips shift halfway in between. We're going to inhale and lift those hips. Option to keep chin tucked to the chest. Option to let the head fall back. Wherever we are, think about those sit bones pointing straight to the back of the knees. Pressing the floor away with the hands and the feet. And slowly we lower ourselves down, extend the legs again. Inhale to prepare, exhale to fold forward. Next inhale brings us up to seated. Option to do our tabletop pose again, or to do our reverse plank, or our elevated reverse plank. Anchoring the hands behind us. Nice big inhale to press down through the toes and lift the hips. Again, head can rest back if it's comfortable. If it's not, keep it tucked to the chest or slightly lifted. Pressing equally through the thumb and all 4 fingers of the hands, and keeping those toes stretching towards the earth. Slowly lowering ourselves back down. Nice, tall seated position. Shifting the hips to the center of our mats so we can take a hold and lower ourselves all the way down. Drawing knees into the chest and letting ourselves rock side to side. From here, taking a hold of the knee, extending the leg long. We're going to shift weight onto that right hip so the left knee can drape across. Thinking about rooting the left shoulder towards the ground and taking our gaze towards our left fingers if it's comfortable. Bringing ourselves back to center. Again, letting ourselves rock side to side. This time taking a hold of the right knee so the left leg can stretch long. Shifting weight onto that left hip and letting the knee drape across as the right shoulder roots. Bringing ourselves back to center. Extending the legs up towards the ceiling. If you're comfortable, option to take your plow pose here. Otherwise, we keep legs towards the ceiling, flexing and pointing those feet. Slowly bringing the knees back into the body, opening the knees, hands come in between. Take a hold of the shin. We can grab at the foot, the big toe, or even behind the thighs if our hips are feeling a little guarded today. And we encourage the knees to the side of the body with keeping our hips anchored to the ground. Allowing our hips and our shoulders to be our base. If it feels good, we can rock side to side. Bringing your knees back to center. Bringing the bases of the feet to the ground. We're going to take a few moments here to rest, relax, reset by allowing our knees to fall open, finding our reclined butterfly pose. If we would like to engage and get a little extra psoas muscle activation, so the muscle that attaches to, from the back up to the front of the hip, that can often get tight if we're doing a lot of seated positions. We can think about pressing those feet together and feel that engagement come right into that hip joint. If you would like to get a little bit more engagement, we can lift those heels. The second I do that, I really start to feel it. My hips are talking to me right here. If we would like to engage further, make sure your low back stays connected to the ground so we're not arching up, not tilting that pelvis, but rather keeping that core strong. We can lift the feet, keeping that press. Slowly bringing it down and allowing ourselves to rest and breathe. Allowing ourselves to have a few moments here for our final relaxation. If you would like to follow this class with some deep stretching, check out our restorative or our gentle class. Option to move into our Shavasana pose, bringing knees together, lowering the legs down. And allowing yourselves this moment of stillness and silence. Acknowledging the noises in the space around us and letting our mind calm. When you're ready, begin with gentle movements. And as always, this is your practice, so feel free to stay in your Shavasana as long as you may need. But as we wake our bodies up, we do it slowly, we do it gently, allowing movement to grow from fingers and toes into wrists and ankles, arms and legs, until we reach that nice total body stretch. From there, we can draw knees into our chest and allow ourselves to roll off to the right. Bringing ourselves to seated, slowly and carefully. Bringing hands to heart center. Thanking ourselves for our practice and the time that we gave ourselves today to honor our bodies, our health, and our well-being. We acknowledge the light that is in with all of us and within our community as we continue to do the best we can. Lifting the hands to the third eye, we acknowledge ourselves again, our community, and all those wonderful people watching with us. Namaste. Thank you to all of you who watched with me live. We appreciate it. And thank you to all who continue to join us for our classes and support all of us Group X instructors. We appreciate you, and we are so thankful to have you. I look forward to teaching you again, hopefully soon in a classroom or in our studios. Namaste.